Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. As I mentioned in previous videos, I have made some upgrades to my AR-15, and we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about exactly what I've done to this. One of the very first upgrades that I made to this was the buttstock. I picked this firearm up secondhand from Cabela's, and the guy, I don't think, had ever really used it, but for some strange reason, he had made a really interesting choice. He put a fixed sand-colored buttstock on a black firearm, and it did not quite make sense to me. So this was one of the very first things that I actually upgraded. I actually purchased the replacement directly from Cabela's, took it home, and immediately made the upgrade after I watched a video or two on YouTube to figure out how to exactly do it. But that was a fixed buttstock. I didn't care for the color, but I also wanted one that was a little more adjustable because I have long arms and I wanted to figure out the right length that was going to work for my body. So that was a Magpul. I ended up going with a Magpul as well, but this one has the adjustable lever that allows you to expand the buttstock a little bit. I'm actually not going to show that here because I have something else that I've stuck on here temporarily that is a little bit in the way. But I picked this up for just a couple of bucks, and it made perfect sense for what I felt like I was going to end up doing with the AR. I haven't second guessed it, but there's some other options out there, but so far so good with that. One of the other immediate changes that I made was I actually added some optics to the AR-15, and this I should probably mention is an Aero Precision Gen 2 upper and lower. And so I added this Hollow Sun red dot sight because I knew that I needed some type of optic, and so I ended up going with this model. I think it's a relatively base model, and it was also relatively inexpensive. It was also on sale, and it was in stock, so it made perfect sense for me to go with this one. I will tell you that after my recent experience on the range as part of this tactical class, I am probably going to pick up some kind of magnification, because trying to shoot 50 or 100 yards downrange without some type of magnification is a little bit of a challenge. And thankfully, one of the guys that I was training with had a simple magnifier that we were able to install right in front of the Hollow Sun that gave me the red dot, but also gave me some magnification that I needed. And so we were able to mount that magnifier right here on the back side of the Picatinny rail, and it actually worked out incredibly well. I had never used magnification with a rifle before, and it worked out really, really nicely. So definitely pleased with this option. But I feel even already it might be important for me to upgrade. One of the next changes that I made was I actually picked up this BCM forward hand stop. And I spent a lot of time looking at various videos online trying to figure out what kind of forward hand stop I wanted to use, if any, because there are a ton of options and there are people out there that actually do not have a forward hand stop. But I decided to go ahead and get one. It has the M-LOK configuration on this BCM, and again, very happy with how it seems to be performing. It took me a little while to figure out how to secure it in place. Again, shout out to the great content creators out there that are putting out videos on YouTube, because there's a ton of great videos out there that allow you to sort out some of this stuff. So we were able to get the forward hand stop in place, and again, very pleased with its placement. The next upgrade that I made was I added an M-LOK light fixture here. So I already had the light, had that on hand, but I was able to add an M-LOK bracket here to actually hold that light in place. So again, those are some of the basic modifications that I've made to the firearm thus far. One of the other big upgrades that I made to this thing, and I just did this one a couple of days ago, is that I swapped out the basic charging handle. And this is a relatively, hopefully you can see that, small charging handle, and it worked pretty well. This is actually what came on the Aero Precision, and not terrible in any way, shape, or form, but I wanted to do something a little more. So what I ended up doing was taking advantage of a sale. There was a 4th of July sale. I took advantage of it, hopped on the Aero Precision website and picked up their breech charging handle. And this is an ambidextrous charging handle. It's a little beefier. It's a little beefier than the stock that came with the Aero Precision. And so far so good. I have not had a chance to take it out and use it just yet, but I'm pretty pleased with how it looks and how I think that it's going to function. Aero Precision actually has 2 versions of this. They have a large version and a small version. I ended up going with the smaller version. I've just felt like it worked better for like the overall aesthetic appeal of this Aero Precision. So now we basically have an upper and lower Aero Precision and also a charging handle, but you should hopefully be able to see that charging handle right there. And if it works, you should be able to see the difference between the two. And if not, I may have to come up with a different way of showing it, but you can see that this charging handle, the replacement, is much larger, much thicker and beefier than the one that came on there. And it also is ambidextrous as well, which is something that I like. So definitely a really cool upgrade to have made to the Aero. One of the last things that I did is I actually picked up a sling. Picked up a sling from T-Rex Arms. This thing was actually on back order for several weeks, but I received an email saying that it was back in stock. I immediately jumped on the website, made the purchase. It is a camo, basically a black camo sling, and I can't remember the technical term for this thing, but I just kind of tucked it here for the moment. I'm actually going to move it to a different location because I think I'm going to go with a different position for the mounting of this thing, and I'm still kind of working through some of that, but again, I just wanted to kind of put it on here for the moment. But we're going to work on that part next. And the other thing that I'll be working on is getting some backup iron sights, because the iron sights that I want, which are from Aero Precision, have been back ordered, but I am going to get those ordered. I'm going to get those mounted. And so again, just a cool little process, if you will, of figuring out what I want, what I like, what actually makes sense. And so we'll see how this thing goes. So those are some of the upgrades that I actually made to the rifle. Again, very pleased with those. Something else that I picked up, I picked these things up, these snap caps, and I had never heard of a snap cap before. But I decided to go ahead and pick these up. I saw them at the gun range, spoke to a few people about them, and decided to go ahead and pick them up. These are for the rifle, and clearly 2 is not enough, so I need to get some more of these. But I also picked up some for my 9mm as well. And so what's great about these, and again, I'm still trying to figure out some of this stuff, is that it allows you to do certain things with the firearm to make it perform as if it were loaded, even though there's no projectile, there's no real danger here, but it allows the firearm to function the way that it should, as if it were loaded. That's kind of how I describe it. So it says, excellent for checking the function of extractors and ejectors. So great for checking, what is that? What does it say? Great for checking and adjusting trigger pull, etc., etc. So a couple of really cool things. I was able to pick these up on Amazon for just a couple of bucks. I need to actually purchase more of them so that I can do a little bit more with them. But there you go. Those are some of the things that have found their way here to the house. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, I definitely want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. More to come as I continue figuring out, this whole firearms world that is out there in front of me. Take care.
I painted 10,000 poems in 1,000,000 years of history. Through these rap heroics, I painted 10,000 poems in 1,000,000 years of history. Through these rap heroics.